the milk of human kindness. They called themselves the milk of human kindness. They claimed to stand for humanity, unity, mercy, acceptance and nourishment. I called them milkers. They wore matching grey hoodies, surgical masks, which made sense with COVID and flu so rampant, and I swear they all wore wigs, though I wasn't sure. I'd heard some Jewish sects shave their heads completely, so maybe it was part of that. Always with babies strapped to their chests in pristine papooses, faces half hidden behind masks of their own, heads covered with woolen hoods, almost always sleeping soundly. Were they part of some sort of quiverful movement, endlessly popping out innocent souls to indoctrinate into the religion? They fed the homeless, preying on the needy to attempt conversions. Bowls of stew, sealed bottles of water, pamphlets with smiling cartoon families and slogans like, "Let yourself be held." I took their food, but I wasn't about to attend one of their meetings or stay in one of their hostels. I don't do religion. I was raised as a witness and shunned when I saw through it. If I'd kept my loss of faith to myself, I might not be on the streets now. They came every Thursday to the underpass near Clapham North, always the same route, always the same platitudes muttered with the suggestion of a smile behind their masks. My mate Darren joked they were likely to brainwash you in a basement somewhere if you ever attended a meeting. I decided to try my luck over in Camden for a while, but was back by the Clapham underpass a few weeks later. Darren wasn't around, which was odd as he always stayed in the area. I think he lived there since he was a boy and was strangely loyal to it. I asked around, no one saw him leave. No hospital, no arrest, just gone. I figured he'd finally got a bed somewhere, or overdosed, or both. The milkers were still around, distributing food and pamphlets, same grey hoods, same babies, but one papoose caught my eye. The baby's face was pale, hidden behind its mask, hat pulled tightly down. It was awake but docile, its eyes locked on mine. There was something about it, almost familiar. I blinked, looked away, told myself I was losing it. But the next week, I thought I saw the same baby again. Same eyes, I swear. So much like Darren's eyes. It was smaller than the baby I'd seen previously, though. I started watching them. They'd arrive with food, set up near the benches, chat with the rough sleepers. Now and again some folks left with them. No one ever came back. I decided to follow them, kept my distance. They entered a large boarded up church. No lights, no sign of being in use. I waited, slept on a bench nearby. The next morning no one emerged. When night fell, members of the church went out on their rounds. There was no sign of the vagrants leaving. Maybe they'd left by another door or were staying on for longer. I decided to break in. I was curious, but also there might be something inside worth stealing. I climbed through a broken window. Inside smelled like antiseptic and meat. The walls in the chapel were daubed with their credo: humanity, unity, mercy, acceptance, nourishment, and slogans like, "Held is healed." I crept down the corridor, heard murmurs. A large empty room lit by red lamps. Inside, members of the cult and the homeless seemed to lay all round in various states of undress. For a mad second, I thought it was an orgy. Then the horror became revealed to me in grotesque stages as my eyes adjusted to the dimness and my mind fathomed the unnatural vision I beheld. Wigs were discarded, revealing heads bald and pitted. Maskless, their mouths lacked lips and teeth. Then as I grasped what I was seeing, I realised that each of the homeless was trapped in various phases of absorption into the bodies of a milker. Some were still nearly whole, their bodies grotesquely wrapped with a greasy grey tentacle that emerged from the stomach of a cultist creature. Their bodies curled up in fetal position by the grasping appendage and partially fused with the creatures that held them. Others were shrunken, their limbs and torsos compressed, twisted into unnatural forms. The milkers were some otherworldly parasite feeding on their human hosts. All the vagrants were paralysed, unable to move or cry out. Legs had sunken deep into the stomachs of the beings, upper bodies distorted and shrinking, faces frozen in silent terror. Some hosts had withered to toddler size. The milkers struggled to rise, clutching their victims as they shuffled forward with halting, hampered movements. Among them, one unburdened creature moved with eerie purpose. It unzipped its hoodie. Beneath, no skin, just a pulsing membrane. From it a tentacle emerged, tipped with a needle-like barb. Its stomach open, its tentacle slick and sharp, swaying in the air. I ran, but the floor gave way. Something wrapped around my ankle. Wet, cold, barbed. I screamed. The cold grip pulled me into the nightmare. The last thing I saw was the vacant eyes of those trapped, lost in the slow, relentless hunger. "You've come to be held," it said. The figure leaned down. "You will nourish," it whispered. "You will unify. Accept."